Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Morale Check. I am your host, Cameron, joined, as always, by the lovely Jay. Say hi, Jay.
Hi, Jay. I couldn't help it. I'm sorry.
I was hoping we would get that
Okay,
that
great,
eventually.
great.
It's been a few weeks. Scheduling conflicts, as we all know, is the real enemy of the people and of the tabletop world. So here we are at last, well, talk about all things bolt action. First, how have you been though? Have the last couple weeks treated you?
I've been pretty well. Um, I have been resisting every attempt of the last couple of weeks to end me as a being upon this material plane. So that's a plus. I'm doing that 50 plus stuff of taking care of yourself and seeing your doctor and all of that, while also juggling work and hobbies. Good times.
They told me it would get easier as I got older, and I'm starting to think they lied to me.
Well, they told me we would
Um,
have flying cars and robot maids, and that hasn't panned out either.
I have to drive roughly an hour for work each day. I don't mind at all. I love my job. Looking at the state of the average driver, I'm not sure I want the cars to fly. I'm not even sure I want the cars to drive, if we're being honest.
Okay, that's a fair point. That is a fair point. I need to moderate my expectations.
Also, doctors, least favorite thing to do. Not that I dislike the doctor, I just hate scheduling a doctor. And trying to find a primary care doctor after you moved, nightmare.
I'm still waiting for that great future where we have the Star Trek reality of a medical scanner that you lay down and the medical scanner says, "Aha, you have a slight bulge on your L3 vertebra. We're going to fix that by pressing these two buttons. Please sit still for 5 seconds." That'd be great.
That's the other thing. You go to the doctor and they start asking you all these questions, and it's like, no, 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 I came here so you would tell me what's wrong.
Yeah,
I don't know what's wrong. That's why I'm here.
and in a lot of ways, yes, medical stuff has advanced a lot. It's much better than back in the cowboy days when it was like, your blood's out of whack. You need to do some kind of drugs about it. No,
We need to balance your
that's
humors.
right. Or let's honor our tremendous fan base in the UK by talking about leeches and bloodletting.
Ooh, good old leeches and
Yeah.
bloodletting.
What you need is a little bit of a leech applied to various parts of your anatomy. That'll set you right. What it'll do is it'll make you say, "Oh, I'm fine," the next time that somebody asks you how you're doing.
Clears you right up.
Yeah.
It's 100% success rate. We tell people they need leeches, they're fine.
You're like, you know what? On second thought, it worked so well last time. I'm feeling better.
I'm feeling better already. And we can't forget cocaine for hysteria.
That's right. That's right. Well, and yeah, I don't want to get into the Industrial Revolution and the cures for hysteria at that point in time.
We do have a series of things to discuss this week that aren't just us complaining about the modern medical practices.
Let's do it. I'm ready.
All right. First, I will sidetrack once again by saying, what kind of hobby stuff you been up to recently? I'll ask the Corey question.
Yeah, we just had a 502 terrain day, and it was supposed to be billed as, well, we're going to get a bunch of us together. We're going to have some fellowship. We're going to have some food together, break bread, have some good refreshing drinks, and build terrain. And what it
It
ended
never
up,
quite goes like that.
no, what ended up happening was more like a 1980s, 1990s flight simulator when you're scrambling and hitting every key on the keyboard and grabbing at your 1999 Walmart flight stick while a voice comes out of the computer saying terrain, 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 terrain. It was just nonstop. We did a lot of sanding. We did a lot of cutting of foam. We completely, perfectly, safely used torches to sculpt the foam a little bit.
Yeah, I
And
was with you up until that
yeah,
point.
well,
I know roughly who was going to that event, and some part of my brain won't let me connect those people and safe use of torches.
this is for plausible deniability on my part. In case there ever becomes a legal action, I can say, well, you can listen to the podcast. It was clearly stated that it
That
was
we
safe.
clearly stated.
Yeah. No, officer, this was not arson. We were safely using these torches. And we also did some modeling with a clever combination of white glue and grout to make some snowbanks around roads and give a little bit of life
Ooh.
to those.
I really wanted to be able to go. See, the problem with you guys being about 2 hours away is that I need to block out about 6 hours worth of time in order to go do a terrain. 2 hours down, hang out, 2 hours back. I can't find 6 hours strung apart, let alone squeezed together these days.
Which is going to
Unfortunately.
bring me back to the flying cars thing. If we have
Yeah.
flying cars only for people who can handle that, but then who gets to decide who can handle it?
Ah, true. True. We have reached the classic problem. Who watches the Watchmen?
Yes.
It did look like a lot of fun, though. It looked like I mean, a mad scramble. You look at a duck sitting on a pond, and what you don't see is its feet just like furiously kicking.
Well,
But it did look like a lot of fun, and we will see at Fall Brawl
yeah, you will, you will.
fruits of your labor.
It was a lot of fun, and I think that genetically I'm predisposed to operating well under pressure and under a threat because my ancestry is that of Scottish and Welsh.
Mm. So the looming threat of the English at all
Yes, yes, we
times.
love you, England. We love you. You're fantastic. You're the best. We're sorry about the tariffs. We're so sorry. But yeah, I've got that genetic predisposition toward, oh my God, here it comes. We got to do something.
A bit of a kindred spirit. I'm Filipino as well, so I need the looming threat of bodily harm to really motivate me. I can do incredible work, but unfortunately, if there's no impending doom, I'm like, I got time.
I could do this later. There's plenty of time.
That sounds like a lot of fun though. Way more productive than what I've been doing, which is I'm still trying to figure out a good workflow
Hmm.
for painting minis because the problem I ran into, I grabbed Corey painted me these wonderful, I believe RDX Soviet riflemen for Fall Brawl.
RKX,
RKX, that was it. Thank you, RKX. You make great products.
you do.
They really are fantastic.
Special thanks to their miniature sculptor for their infantry. One gentleman that we will refer to as Propylene Foliescu, whose real name escapes me at the moment, but he's a really cool dude. I think he's based in New Zealand or some such.
We know way more people than I think we know, which is a really fun thing we can discuss at some point in the future as to like, no matter how displaced everyone in this hobby is, it really is a small world.
It truly is. I wish more people knew who we are.
And we're working on it. We're working on it.
And maybe it's good that
But
they don't.
maybe this should stay as obscure as
That's
possible.
right. But yeah, I had an example of that at a recent event that I went to, NashCon, at the
Oh, which we will get to.
yeah, at the
I do
Music
want to
City
discuss
Sheraton. But
NashCon.
yeah, I got some updates on that coming, and we'll talk about the whole recognition thing among the hobbyists.
But beautiful miniatures. I sat down, base coat. Well, it took me a little bit because I don't have the exact paint that I was looking for. So it was just kind of getting close, getting happy with it, doing a couple test swatches. And then I finally sat down, did the base coat, did the pants, which are the same color as the jacket. Switched over, painted the cape, painted the submachine gun, painted his boots. Was looking at what I wanted to do for the basing, painted the face. Looked up and it had been 4 hours.
Yeah,
And then I slowly looked back at the 35 other miniatures that I have sitting, needing to be painted. I did some quick, simple math and said, a different way of doing this.
yes, I like to do like a Henry Ford method without all the political undertones of doing a production line. I like
That is
to,
what I switched over to doing.
yeah,
I went through and I just like I grabbed the command squad, I grabbed the first scout squad, and I just painted the coat and the pants, and then I set them to the side and grabbed the next one.
and a tip that I picked up from someone who is definitely not a sponsor of the show yet, but is very
We're
helpful
working on it.
when learning painting, is you paint the things that are in the deepest, tiniest, most awkward recesses first. Paint the faces and the hands first, and then work out from there. You can always go back in and clean up afterward. And like something I like to do, I grab 10 infantry at a time, and I paint all their faces, all their hands. By the time I'm finished with the last guy, the paint on the first guy is finished. I'll go back. I'll do shirts and pants. all the way down. It's like a German techno rave, shirts and pants and shirts and pants and shirts and pants. Get all the way to the last guy, I'm good. Come back and then you pick the next thing. Is it boring? Maybe. Does it get a lot of
That's why you
stuff
get the
painted?
music.
Yes. And what kind of music would you listen to other than the Morale Check podcast?
Exactly. We are your official sound
That's right. You're
of
painting
boring
music.
paint sessions.
Lull yourself to sleep while painting with Morale Check podcast.
Exactly. I will say, that is not exactly how I did it, although I will try that next because
Hmm.
I do have two more squads to paint. I normally go for the easy things first and then get in on all the gritty detail. Thinking about it as you listed that off, it's not a bad idea. I think I'm going to try that. I've got plenty of people that still need painting. I'm unfortunately not out of any backlog anytime soon. And I did just make it worse for myself because my new job, very, very generous work, paying pretty well. And unfortunately, they paid me just enough that I looked at the Forward to Berlin pre order and said, yeah, I can eat ramen for the next couple days. That's a thing I can do.
All you've done is you've created more opportunities for greatness. You give,
And that is how I will sell it
yeah,
to my wife when she sees the bill.
you've just given yourself a chance to show everybody how you can overcome the pile of gray shame, the pile of gray opportunity.
And hopefully, I can overcome it before the French come out, or that pile will just continue to double.
Yes. Something we never really hear in history is the French are coming, at least after Napoleonic times. Don't really hear
You
that in the
know,
modern era.
which really is a shame because in the American Revolution, the French were coming was not only said a lot, but it was a
Appreciate it.
rallying cry.
Yeah.
It was appreciated. It truly was.
We do love you,
The
France. We love you, France, but
it,
come on.
it we love the fact that you bankrupted yourself so much supporting our young fledgling nation that it did lead to your revolution, which I say you're welcome.
Yes. Thanks for the statue, too.
Yeah, the statue is great. We love it.
And again, sorry about the tariffs. It's funny. When
Yeah,
we look back at history, we often say that history does not repeat itself, but sometimes it rhymes. And once again, a gentleman of Germanic descent is causing problems. We're terribly
it
sorry.
seems to happen quite a bit.
It does. Time's going to work this one out itself.
The running joke that me and some of my friends have anytime Germany starts getting up to some things is, okay, hear me out, guys. 3 Germanys this time. We'll
Yeah,
get it.
this time for
We just
sure.
haven't tried enough Germanys.
There will be some sort of a trilateral Germany, and they're going to get it figured out this time.
But switching over to a segment that might actually end up getting cut, it's the tariffs thing really has been cutting both ways because there have been 2 smaller shops near me. I suppose I could say their name; they don't exist anymore. One was a shop called Games to Die For, which I actually started playing Bolt Action at Games to Die For, run by an older guy who was doing it kind of. He'd get off work and then he'd go run the shop, and all the money he'd make off the shop just went right back into the shop. And he liked Bolt Action. He liked Flames of War, the main, I guess, main World War II tabletop game.
Hmm.
Sponsored the local community. He had like this American starter army. That's you had the tank, you had the artillery, you had the infantry, and that's how I actually got into this game. He just had to close up shop the other day because most of this stuff comes from overseas.
Yeah,
There are American, I mean, even outside of just the wargaming setup, even you getting into like board games, there are American companies producing this stuff, but Warlord is based in England, Citadel is in England, Warhammer, Games Workshop, that's all overseas, and a 15 to 20% price hike on this is not sustainable for a lot of people.
yeah, that can be a profit margin for a small business. And in a day and age where small business is already under attack by technology, we've got 3D printers. They're great. I own 4. Yeah, I've got 4 3D printers. Do I still shop at my local game store? Yes, I do, because number one, I have the means to do so, thankfully, and I want to support them. But man, sometimes you want some kind of strange, obscure thing, and you've got an STL file for it, and you don't want to order it from Romania or wherever it's being modeled. It's easier just to print it, and that does not help the small businessman.
3D printers are kind of a not in themselves a moral dilemma because obviously there's a whole thing like Trench Crusade like 100% supports that you do that because
Yes.
they are literally drowning in orders right now. It keeps getting delayed because too many people pre-ordered and they're trying to print everything. But on the other side of things, I buy most of my bolt action stuff and Warlord games in general from one single business over in Cincinnati, Victory Pints. Please, if you're anywhere near Cincinnati, go check out Victory Pints. Very much worth your time, worth your effort. The owner, Riley, incredible. Tell him Cameron sent you. He won't give you anything for free, but I do want him to know he's got shooters out here.
Victory Pints.
Victory Pints.
Tell me about this. This is an intriguing name.
It's a lot of fun. It is a bar and also a game area, but it's not. Actually, I kind of wrote myself into a corner there. The bar is just like one single bar. They have some things on tap. They got a lot of food. Got soft drinks, soda, coffee, that sort of thing. They will make you frappuccinos in house as well. And then there's in the back 6 large tables, and in the front a handful of smaller tables, and then a massive game library. Go grab any game you want and just sit and play it. And Riley, the owner, knows most of these games, and as long as he's not busy with other stuff, you can be like, hey, I'm interested in Wingspan or Wormspan or Finspan or Catan.
Catan Span.
Can you teach me how to play? Catan Span.
How
I'm
far
curious
away?
as to what Catan Span.
How far away is this from where you live?
It's about 2 hours, but I go back about once a month just to see the guys that I play games with, great dudes, the big damn heroes, but also to go visit Riley because he'll be at my wedding, great dude. So all of my large Warlord orders come through him because I want to support him directly. It would be cheaper a little bit to order directly from Warlords, but it's not about.
Right.
It's not about saving $15.
Yeah, it's about saving a local business that you care about.
Exactly. And
We're gonna play. We're gonna play
when
bolt action there. Cincinnati is like an hour and a half for me.
perfect, I will talk because I've kicked this around before about setting up a tournament because I can grab the Indiana guys and we can carpool over.
Hmm.
He's got the space for it. They play Warhammer there. They play Crisis Protocol, if you're aware of what that
I
is.
am, yeah.
Big scene for it. I do want to get a tournament, and incredible guy, will absolutely set us up. I'll chat with him about it.
Yeah, great.
We'll
I can
set something
I
up.
can guarantee you players from the Louisville area. We've been trying to play at my local VFW just because they've got a bar and it's a good place to hang out.
Well, Riley's got a bar. He's got some things on tap. He's got some wine. He's got some food. And there's a pizza place just next door that it's literally in a village. It's called the Village of Mainville. Population like 1,000 people.
I love it.
Maybe less because my wife and I moved away from there.
The population 998 people.
Exactly. But all of the like small businesses on this little like stoplight strip all like know each other and they talk to each other and they support each other, and it is incredible to see. It is that like American dream of small business.
Yeah, this is gonna happen.
We need to make it happen.
Yep.
Then I discovered STLs, and I 3D printing was something I never got into because I knew I would get into it,
Yes.
and I have enough hobbies. I'm into cars. I'm into computers. I'm into tabletop wargaming. I'm into books. I am into guns. My wife is into crocheting and knitting and cross stitching. And our office, I've mentioned this before, our office is literally wall to wall with desks and like stuff for either work or hobby stuff. And if I came in with, because I would want a resin printer because I want resin, and I would need a cure, 2 big machines.
Yes, they are large machines.
I would be told to put them out on the curb. So, and she would be right for doing so. She would absolutely be right for doing so.
From where I am sitting right now, go ahead and finish your thought, and I'm going to add.
Absolutely. Corey has a 3D printer, and Corey is a very generous human being. And so he 3D printed me these Soviets, which, from what I understand, from what I've been told by several people, the plastic quality of the existing Soviets is not great from Warlord. So I've been told by several people. some of which you do shop almost exclusively at Warlord, not to buy any of the previous Soviet kits.
Agreed.
But then he's like, hey, I'll print you these Soviets. And I was like, oh, sweet. And then he's like, yeah, here's the document of all the STL files. And I can get this and I can print you this. And the list of things he's offering to print is getting longer and longer, which is, again, super generous. But it's also like, it would be more expensive, but this is like $150 or $200 order that I could be getting to Riley at Victory Pints.
Right.
At this point. It's like,
and there's new Soviet stuff coming.
With the big Soviet stuff coming, I'm ordering it through him. Mm-hmm. It's also like, times are tough, and they're tough for everyone right now. There's not the most money to go around. And I'm not saying hold loyalty to businesses, but it's also like, it's not just a business, it's a friend.
Exactly.
Who owns a business. And I think it's a complex question. I think it's a question a lot of people do wrestle with. And some people who are going to be listening to this going like, skip forward, skip forward, skip forward. No, they're still talking about it. Skip forward, skip forward, skip forward. Nope, they're still going on about the small business shit. Skip forward. But it is a tough question. It is, and everyone has their own thing. And as long as you're not outright pirating anything, then I don't think there is a right answer.
Right. I agree. But yeah, kind of tagging on to your comment about having lots of hobbies. From where I'm sitting right now, I can see a Creality laser cutter. I can see a Cab King cabochon making tool. I can see a desk devoted to silversmithing. I see a desk devoted to woodworking, and I see a workstation devoted to 3D printing. And in the other side of the room, I can see a broadsword from my time doing Viking fighting team stuff, where we would actually do stunt fighting. So yeah, lots of things going on.
I've got my desk that has all my models and everything in it. I have my computer desk, which also has my flight simulator stuff and all my paint stuff on it. Migrating to the right, we have my wife's thread, my wife's yarn, my wife's Cricut, a bunch of quilting stuff, and then her various workstations for fabric cutting, everything like that, and then her desk that she studies at. So it is a 2-bedroom apartment is not, and there's even more. I have in storage at my parents' place. I have a wood burning kit.
Mm-hmm.
At my grandparents' place, there's a full wood workshop, which my grandfather's been slowly teaching me about. So it's, when we discuss like what our dream house would look like, it includes a basement, a garage, and a detached garage.
Absolutely. And it's a little weird to think back and talk about how we were just talking about how there's not a lot of money going around and times are hard. But we poor Americans with all of our possessions, I guess we should be a little more thankful for the things that we do have, I guess.
And that is the other thing.
Yep.
Is when I was mulling back and forth, it's like, do I really need more plastic? Because I have a lot of it already.
Yep.
And a lot of it is unpainted.
Mm-hmm.
For being honest. So times are hard, but we do find ways to navigate it.
Yes.
We are here to talk about some hobbies.
That's right.
What is your ideal match length?
My ideal match length has changed as I have gotten older. I used to be happy to sit down and play a 6 to 8 hour long game. And that was just beautiful. We would love it. And now the thought of going to a tournament with a 3 hour match length is like, nah, my back cannot handle that.
3 hours at a tournament is brutal.
3 hours per game, 3 games? No, thank you.
I will go play a 3 hour game with like Corey or Caleb or any of the indie guys. I'll even play an individual 4 hour game because most of that's probably just us like yapping.
Yeah, in a casual setting, it's fine. But
3x3 is 9 hours minimum.
Right, plus breaks, plus lunch.
Cannot. I can do that once.
Yes. And by the end of the day, we're done.
We are absolutely done. Good tournament length is about 2 to 2.5 hours, depending on points values.
I would agree. 2.5 might even be pushing it for me. Ideal for me, 2 hours. Now, and this is something I would love to see, if tournaments would use primarily the meeting engagement setup where everyone is coming on first wave, it would speed things up a lot. because a lot of people spend a lot of time in setup when they're pulling their dice out of the bag, deciding the perfect, optimum, super exact place for their infantry and their tanks and everything on the board. When you do things first wave, it just starts the game immediately, and it's a lot quicker and a lot more, I think, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know what the word is that I'm looking for, but it's better. It's mo better,
Mo better.
efficient.
I think that unless you were doing, how do I put this? Actually, now that I'm needing to formulate my thoughts beyond just thinking of the very next word I'm saying, I don't look for the same quality of game in a tournament as I do an individual match.
Right.
Not to say that a tournament has to be worse, but it is the understanding that I have to do this usually two more times
Right.
after the game I'm presently playing. And so that's when it goes into it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And so do you burn all of your cognitive processing power on the first match? You know, you think every little detail over, every possibility, you're playing 4 turns ahead. By the time you get to match 3, you're wiped. You are making mistakes. You are not looking at things because you've been doing this for, on the low end, 6 hours at this point, counting lunch and breaks.
And should that be part of the tournament? Is the mental fortitude to get through that? Arguably, maybe so. Is it a lot of fun for the players? No, maybe not. Which is why a lot of tournaments that are organized out of the 502nd will always have the third match is going to just be a kill point match. We're not going to ask
And I
you
agree
to,
with that completely.
you don't have to go disable a radio after making a transmission to Warsaw and then drive a car 24 inches over to a tunnel. No, just kill points.
We played a tournament which used kill point first and objective base last, and let me tell you, almost every table around me that I was talking to and interacting with was just treating it like a kill point game.
Yes.
It was there is an objective, sure, and if I kill him, he can't do his
Right.
objective.
He won't have anybody left to take objectives if he's not there to do it.
Problem solved, problem staying solved. I think kill point should be last if you're gonna do it. I do also think there is another layer to it that is that tactical thinking. I was looking at the requirements for the Detroit qualifier. I don't know if that's its exact name, but I know it's a national qualifier.
Right.
And that was over 2 days. And I definitely think in something like a national qualifier, that sort of mental attrition should be part of it.
It should.
That can you sustain? If I'm just gonna go throw throw $20 down, throw some dice to get some local prize support, help out a local game shop, I don't want to be thinking that much.
You,
I don't.
you're kind of hitting on a sensitive point for me here too. We're going to get controversial here a little bit.
We are clearly strangers to controversy here.
A national qualifier. What are we qualifying for? Let's go ahead and let's entertain this. What exactly, in your opinion, are we qualifying for in a national qualifier?
So I once upon a time raced go-karts and then other small vehicles. I I qualified for the national qualifier in this specific racing category, in this specific racing tournament, as it were.
A quantifiable sport where you have to meet certain benchmarks to be able to progress in it.
Well, I'm gonna get to that
Okay.
because I qualified by placing first in the Great Lakes Pro Series' Rotax Junior Field. I qualified by winning the whole thing in Great Lakes Pro Series' Rotax Junior Field. Jay, do you know how many other Rotax Juniors there were in the Great Lakes Pro Series?
I'm afraid to ask because I want to think about you as a fantastic driver.
Oh, I was good. I was actually really good because I did place well during the national qualifier.
Uh-huh.
Jay, there were 2.
Oh, wow. Did the second place guy qualify?
Top 2 qualified. Yes.
We had a club member
I did win it.
go to Adepticon a couple of years ago, and he won the bolt action tournament, and he won the best painted, best sportsman, everything, because he's the only guy who showed up. Same kind of thing.
To swing this back around, to salvage my wounded pride here for a second, we did go to other series and we did go to other races, and I did win. I was not bad. That being said, there were a lot of people who were either the only, or there were only two, or there were only five. Because Rotax did also have the same issue that Warlord, Bolt Action, I guess, has, where it's just not the most popular thing.
Right.
And so, do you be as restrictive as you'd like to be with it? Or do you face the reality of if we want a 50 racer field, we're going to have to open up the requirements?
And if you have a situation like in Bolt Action where maybe it's not a big worldwide, big, huge sport or super popular game, why go through having the pretense of saying this is a qualifier for the WTC? When in reality, and I'm going to get some hate for this, I know, what you need to participate in the American national team for the WTC is enough time off work, a passport, and the money required to get a plane ticket. That is what you need.
And if we're being honest, that is probably the biggest barrier to entry.
Yeah, that's it.
I would love to go watch the Worlds. If I told my wife that I was buying a ticket to Europe, I have friends over in England. So if I was like, I'm going to Europe, she'd be like, oh, to go see Ryan or Kieran or Corlin or Colin. No, to go visit a Bolt Action tournament. It's just me.
Suddenly she would
Bye-bye.
not be in agreement.
I wouldn't have to worry about my wife's opinion on things anymore because I'd be getting papers within the next week.
Exactly, yeah. I've got a lot of buddies who are competitive Bolt Action players. I've got several buddies who have gone to WTC. Same buddies have never beaten me in a game of Bolt Action, and it bothers them a lot. It doesn't bother me. I don't care. I'm playing to have fun. I'm not playing to win. Have I won tournaments? Yes, I've won tournaments. Does it matter? No. I talk about it a lot for somebody who says it doesn't matter, but that's mainly to aggravate people who really want to win a tournament. It's a fun game. Let's have fun playing it.
I agree completely. That being said, I don't actually know all the requirements to qualify for the US team, other than I've seen a bunch of tournaments listed as qualifying matches. I don't know.
I wish I was joking with you. The requirements are have enough time off work, have enough money, have your passport, and be willing to go. That's it. We took 4 teams last year, or this year, I guess it is. I don't know. I'm losing track of time. I'm an old guy. Give me a break. Those are the requirements.
The 2025 season.
Yeah, you have to be. I love and respect all the guys who go. Don't get that wrong. They're great people. But let's not make it a big deal and say, oh, this is the qualifier. There are people going to those tournaments at the WTC who have never won a major event or even a minor event. They're going because they have a good time, and everyone who's going wants to have a good time. We all want to be armchair generals and say, ah, yes, I used this stratagem, and this was the meta for this, and blah, blah, blah. Ah, man, it doesn't matter. Go be a great player. There's a guy from Spain, I think it is. I don't care. You could give him the worst army in the book, and he's going to win the tournament. It's about the player. It's not about the army. Player. I had an event at Atlanta 2022 or 3, don't really remember, where they sent our lists off to be reviewed by the patron saint of Bolt Action, Bo Mortensen. We love you, Bo. We don't always show it.
We love you, Bo.
But we love you. And he looked at my list for the recon event, and he's like, oh, well, this is not good. I don't know what he's trying to do here. This is never going to work. This is not the meta. And I won the event. Okay, so it wasn't about the list. It's about the way that you use the list and the people who show up on that day and who had some bad Korean barbecue the night before and wasn't feeling great. Let's just try not to turn this into the Indianapolis 500. Let's just make this a good, fun game where everyone is accepted and we all just try to have a good time, gather a better understanding of the rules, and widen our friend base.
We had a slight similar situation with Operation Unwavering Resolve. It will always be my crowning highlight is the list got sent off to the good old Bo, and he did his video of going over who he thought was gonna win, his favorites, what he was looking for, and he was right on two people, I want to say. And I beat two of his favorites to win, and my list didn't even rank. And he got to my list during his after action, and he was like, Cameron with his Rangers, not sure what he was thinking, but he did well with it. And I was like, yeah,
Yeah,
you remember that.
because he knows how to play the game. And it's not
I
about
don't. I got very lucky. I lucked my way into that list.
and luck is a
However,
big part of the game. We use dice, guys. Hey, everybody. Bolt
it
action.
is. That is the
Yes.
that is the thing, is you're just throwing dice. It is all luck. Eventually, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how good you are. Eventually, 2 6s are coming up.
Now in the news, bolt action is determined by a random drawing of dice and random chance on die rolls. You can influence the way your game's going to turn out by making good decisions. And Bo did put out a video recently talking about how he sets his armies up and how he prioritizes what to move when. You can turn this into a spreadsheet. If you wanted to, just pull out your spreadsheet, look at the map, and do what the spreadsheet says. Going back to what we said last episode about the British commander abilities, the whole lead from the front ethos, the pull out your longbow and have your bagpiper and lead from the front.
A stiff upper lip.
You're not going to
British gentleman doesn't cower.
Yeah, you're probably not going to see that at a tournament. We need more of that. That is what I want to
Boy,
see.
you're going to see it at a local game, though.
Oh yeah, you're going to definitely see it at a local game. Are you going to see it at the WTC? Maybe if the one Spanish dude plays, you will, and he'll win. And maybe that'll become the new meta. But I just anti-meta, anti-trying to turn it into a spreadsheet. Let's just have fun, play good games. Also, if you'd like to come to Miso's in Louisville, Kentucky, I will accept all challengers and play a game with anybody out there. Will I always win? No. Will I always have fun? Guaranteed.
That is one of the biggest things that, because Corey and I bounce lists off each other all the time, and Corey is always keeping one eye towards the victory, one eye towards how you would win, and I'm keeping both eyes towards what would be hilarious.
Yes.
And the thing I've discovered and landed on as I've been working on Soviet lists, it's not what I'm taking to Fall Brawl as much as I would love to. It's Soviet assaulters, all submachine guns, body armor.
There you go.
In an American half track. Because is it good? No, they can only move 6 inches. However, the half track drives you up, and then you unload 12 guys with submachine guns who have assault, so they're rolling on 4s no matter what. They're rolling 24 dice, and then when you go to shoot at them, they have body armor, so they're veterans. It's a 5, but it's a -1 to wound, meaning you need a 6.
Yes.
They will get pinned. They will get pinned out probably, but you are not going to kill them, and it would be hilarious if it worked.
There was a game that I played in Atlanta against a guy who's really big in the regional bolt action scene. We're just going to call him Joey. Joey's a great dude. He was running the V2 Stewart lists, where you just bring as many DACA Stewarts as you can. And I had some of those armored engineers in a truck at this point in time. I think they were in a truck. And I just dumped them out right in front of the Stewart because I knew he's not going to be able to not shoot at these guys. And I need his Stewart to stay there long enough for my T-34 to get into range. And sure enough, man, it was like red meat before the lions when those engineers jumped out. He's like, I've got you now. And he rolls an entire...
That's a bunch of soft, squishy infantry, man.
He rolls an entire bucket of dice at these boys and didn't get a single kill. And the look of realization when the T-34-85 crested the hill behind, he's like, oh no, I'm in danger.
I've been had.
It's just, the engineer lists are fun. Yeah, they're super slow. Yeah, they're going to work the first time. They may even work the second and third time, but there's always a rock for that particular pair of scissors. There's always...
Someone is going to figure it out.
Yes.
They're going to look at you and they're like, I know what you're dealing with.
Yes.
And that's also my ethos around Fall Brawl is, I stumbled upon... The biggest thing is I ask myself, would this be fun to play? And would it be funny if it worked? And more importantly, would it be funny if it failed to work?
Right.
You got people that are they're going through and they're figuring out, like, doing math on their spreadsheets for points values, and I'm in my app just like lizard, lizard, lizard,
Right,
lizard,
right, yeah.
lizard, as I'm just throwing scout squads in there, all rifles, but they're infiltrators. So my whole army infiltrates in the beginning.
Hmm.
Oh, but that lets you know where they are. Great, do something about it.
Which is great until you come up against the Joker who's playing Hungarians and it doesn't let you use infiltrators. And you're like,
Right.
oh no, what have I done?
And then I'm like, I've been had. A worthy opponent.
Somebody brought some scissors to my paper.
Yeah, exactly. But until then, I'm throwing this paper as far as I
Heck
can.
yeah.
That being said, so with the idea of about a 2-ish hour time limit,
Let's fall on 2 hours.
what
Yeah, 2 hours.
let's fall in 2 hours. What kind of well, first we'll do points and then we'll do order dice because I feel like order dice is actually the much more interesting question there.
It is.
How many points you like to see for about 2 hours worth?
I honestly I like about 750 to 1,000 for 2 hours. Yes, that does not allow a lot
Good
of the big tanks.
skirmish.
It doesn't allow every single toy in the toy box, but it makes you decide, yeah, what do I want to take? What's going to be fun for me? What's going to be fun for my opponent? I don't want to show up with a KV2 when I know a guy's running Polish cavalry. That's not so great for the guy playing the Poles. Something reasonable, something that a beginning player can reasonably be expected to be able to produce in the time that it between announcing the tournament and holding the tournament. And it gives you time to have a more casual game where you're not struggling to move your 15-man Japanese spearman squad across the table or line up your three squads of cavalry with a company commander moving in a giant echelon across the board. Just keep it a little bit low points. Keep it more tactical, less strategic, more
Fast
tactical.
pace and fun.
Yeah,
I'd agree with that. I think I like to sit around the 1,000 to 1,100 range. I'm not. I don't know what it is when you go from 1,100 to 1,250 because it's only 150 points. But man, does that jump slow the game down
it really
just
does.
massively. Maybe it's because you can start adding smaller squads in to get order dice. Maybe it's because now you're shrinking squad sizes to get bigger vehicles on the table. But man, that jump to 1,250 easily adds half an hour, if not an hour.
It does, yes.
The other thing that I really like that more tournaments are doing is a hard order dice cap limit
Yes.
because it just takes one joker with 30 boats and 15 medium machine gun squads and 15 anti-tank rifles before that man's turn is half of the tournament.
Yeah, and that's a disservice to not only that person, but everybody he's playing against. We come to these tournaments, we pay money to play at tournaments because we want to use our toys. And if our opponent is taking up three-quarters of your game, moving his stuff, and you don't really get to do much, nah, it's not a lot of fun.
Not fun at all.
Which also
I feel like
kind of lends to the whole thing with the tournaments. Don't make all of them kill points. Make some objectives. Make some things that infantry has to take, so that one guy
oh,
just can't
absolutely.
time the other dude out. Oh, it's a draw. Looks like. Well, yeah, I didn't get to move anybody. Of course, it's a draw.
It really is the like you don't have to keep your opponent in mind with every choice you make, but if you want people to come back,
Yes.
some concessions need to be made. Speaking in that regard though, I feel like having let's say 12 order dice for a 750 point game.
Hmm.
That's a little high, I understand, but
I don't know. 12 for 750 is actually it's pretty good. Some people would argue that it's a little low because they want to bring all their little tiny
really.
specialty units.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. The two AT squads, the
Yeah,
sniper, the yeah.
I would say that that's acceptable. It gives you the extra challenge of building your army and getting the things that you need in that dice cap.
And I feel like that contributes to it as well, especially as someone who appreciates a good toolbox. Limit the size of my toolbox.
Yes.
And now I have to get creative with how I get things in there. Well, I still need some sort of anti-tank. Well, do I take a dedicated AT guy? Or do I throw AT grenades on something? Do I switch up what vehicle, if at any, that I'm taking. And we're going to swing way back around to one of my favorite vehicles in the game, the M8 Scott,
Great
because the
vehicle.
M8 Scott is the perfect toolbox vehicle. You have a light howitzer, great HE, good enough AT. With a light howitzer, you can damage light and medium tanks. It's got an HMG with pin 1, and it's pretty hard to hit. It's small, it's light, speedy. Doesn't get wrecky, but you're throwing 75, whether that's AP or HE. You're throwing around a 75 millimeter shell.
The being small too, big deal in bolt action comes with the way tables are set up a lot too. I like a lot of cover. A lot of people don't like a lot of cover. Vehicles can take a hit really hard on a board without a lot of cover. Scott gives you a little bit more chance to hide.
Just that little bit extra.
That's a difference in
I,
getting 50% cover and getting no cover.
and I feel like you have stumbled intentionally or otherwise into one of the biggest discussions that a lot of people don't really think to have. What starts a fight in bolt action? What army's the best? What rule is the best? Are pins worth it?
The balance
You
of the
really want to
map.
start a fight? Look somebody in the eye and say, how would you set up an ideal table?
Yes,
Because
because
you learn a lot about somebody in that moment.
yes, you do. There are so many guys who are going to tell you, well, it needs to be balanced on both sides. We need to have exactly mirrored terrain, both sides, to make it fair. Fair, 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 equity, equity. No, there's nothing fair about it.
I disagree completely.
Yeah,
I disagree completely. I like a range of things. I like a table. I don't like, it is the one map type I don't like. All ruins, all large ruins. Nightmare.
yes,
Hate
the
it.
worst.
If we're playing like a Rattenkrieg or like a Stalingrad-esque thing, yeah, that allows me to play around it. If we're doing like the anniversary of the Battle of Stalingrad, or I think it's Cologne was like the Americans' version of Stalingrad. Um, yeah, that's great. That allows me to play for it. But if I've, and my opponent as well, as Corey and I ran into, built this versatile army and then we're slugging it out in the streets where everything's rough terrain, I'm not really going to have a fun time with that.
No, it's not going to
And
be a
it's
good time.
pretty much just going to devolve into shooting at each other. But I do like variation in the terrain. This is the area of like several buildings, some trees, and then this is the more wide open area.
Part of the game that gets
This
overlooked
is
a whole lot is the roll off at the beginning to decide who gets what side. If,
that it can be a huge
yeah, it
factor.
can. And it should be because we are trying to roll weeks of intelligence work and looking at maps and planning to see which road to come in on and what's going to be our best option. We're rolling that into one die roll. Oh, that's a little bit of a disservice to that, but at least make it matter by not having a map that's just mirrored left and right with L-shaped buildings.
Yeah, that L-shaped building's a big one. The amount of times I have seen, this is our village, L-shaped building, T-shaped road,
Yeah,
church.
yes. And
It's fun.
there
Don't get me
there
wrong.
are some other very popular games that are now I'm seeing 100% clear plexiglass buildings, they're calling them, so you can see right through them and see where everything is and have a perfect line of. No, I hate it.
Nah, not at all. Do not give me that.
No,
Do not roll up to my table with that.
do not. Take that elsewhere.
Take it somewhere else. This is about going, oh shit, I forgot that guy was there.
Yes. Or having your vehicle camouflaged so well that the guy's like, oh man, I didn't even see that thing there. Yeah, because it blends into the
I,
terrain. Or have the guy
I
be
feel
like,
like there is. Sorry, go ahead.
or have the player be like, man, I got another order dice in the bag. What am I missing? Oh, there's
Right.
my sniper's in the bushes over there. Oh, okay, there he is.
Forgot about that guy.
He's doing a great. You're doing a great job, buddy. Nobody can find you.
I feel like there is a difference between, because I have done that before. I've forgotten where my own placements are. Whenever I move a unit into a building or something,
Yep.
I always put a chit or something on top of it,
Right.
because it's one thing if a guy's like, "Oh man, I forgot that went there. That's a great play." Versus, "What do you mean you have a guy there?
Yes.
When did that happen?"
Right. I don't remember that.
It's a fine line, but it is like deception without being a dick,
Yes.
because we do want people to come back.
What we've tried to do in the 502nd is we want to look at aerial photos of places that existed at the time that they existed during the 1930s and 1940s and make our maps look like that. I want it to be reasonable. I want to be an anthropologist when I'm building a board and saying, and this is where they will get their water from. And this is a good place for a barn with the rolling hills, and the horses will be very happy eating the grass in the autumn sun. I want it to look pastoral. I want it to look like a place that could have existed. And then we're going to fight over it because there's something there that both sides want. And it's not going to be matchy-matchy. It may not be advantageous to even try to defend. But you got to do it because that's the mission.
That is the mission. That is the objective. That's what you've been told to do, and Boss Man does not care if you don't understand why.
Yep.
I agree with that completely, and I also think that, once again, we are not sponsored. One of the reasons I love the Battle Map Bazaar map that you brought out that one time is it's clearly asymmetrical.
Yes.
There are points where this guy's going to have a hill, and you're not going to have that hill, and you're going to have to think about how to play around that. Because if it's 1-to-1, you just hunker down on your side of the map and know how he's going to approach. But now you have to think about how to take that hill. He doesn't have to think about taking a hill, but maybe he has to think about assaulting through buildings.
Yeah, not only is your opponent part of the thing that you are having to figure out, the terrain is also, which is as it should be.
As it should be. You can fight in sand, you can fight in dirt, you can fight in snow, but you can't fight in mud.
Right, yes. We forget about mud. Let's just not. Let's just agree not to fight in the mud.
General Winter and Lieutenant Mud.
Right. So when you set a board up, what is your first thing that you try to consider?
First thing I try to consider, oh man, I try not to think about either of the armies being played because I do not ever want to, side of the board is a dice roll, but it's 50-50. So if I set a board up in a way that benefits me and the army I have, I still have a 50-50 shot of this working. That's gambling odds right there. I'll slam an over on a 50-50 all day.
Right. It is known.
I try not to think about the armies at play, and I just try to think about what battle am I trying to emulate. You look at realistic maps and terrains and everything, and I think of like, what were some actual battles fought here? Okay, well, it's a green map. We have a lot of buildings. We have a lot of trees. Battle of Silo Heights. How would I set it up for that? Or, maybe this is more of like a breakout of through the Rhine sort of thing. Maybe it's gonna be open, or maybe I've got sandy, so I'm gonna do like Halfaya or El Alamein. I don't do too much with tropicals, but I'm sure that would be fun to play as well. I try to think of like, what realistically could you see?
Yes.
People fighting over. Sorry, what realistically could you see people fighting over? Because there were times in World War I and World War II, much more in World War II, the war movement, where the enemies dug in at this place. Well, there's a road that goes to the right about 10 miles. We can just bypass clean around them. Why would you fight here?
Right. There's no reason for us to commit troops to this.
Right. We just swing around them, cut them off, wait for them to realize, and then maybe they fight, maybe they surrender. Either way, just bypass. So I try to think of like, where realistically would people fight over? What makes this an interesting place to commit troops to?
I like it.
How about you?
I try to go for the anthropological standpoint of why would this place exist? Why is this here? Is there a source of water? Is this farmland? Is this a city center? And I build it from the perspective of the people who would have built the city. And yeah, I know this sounds a little crazy. If I'm just setting up doing a 15-minute board setup, maybe I don't do that as much. I want there to be differences on the two sides. I want there to be a variety of types of cover. I want there to be some soft cover, some heavy cover, not too much heavy cover. I want some trees. If you get too much heavy cover, a lot of times people just like to park. We're just going to camp and take pot shots.
War gamers will reinvent the First World War at any chance they
Absolutely. Get. There's a trench. Let's get in the trench. All right, now
We'll get in
let's.
the trench and we'll hold our position
We're
here.
gonna hold
Well,
positions. Turn 6. I'm still holding my position.
make them come to us, but it's a kill point. So they're also sitting in their trenches on the other side. You're lobbing mortars at each other. Maybe you're taking speculative HE shots, but you're not committing your troops.
You play this way every game of the tournament. You've got a draw for all 3 games, and second place. Congratulations.
Second place.
You've just made the qualifier for the WTCs.
That was an incredible callback.
Uh,
And I think that also it ties in a little bit with what do you want from the tournament? Do you want to place? Do you want to win? Do you want to have fun? And for me, I play bolt action because I am a broke gambling addict.
right. You can get the rush without having the hit to the pocket.
Well, it's a one-time hit to the pocket. It's a one-time hit to the pocket 5 separate times, but it's a one-time hit to the pocket. If you put me in a situation where you're like, okay, here's the board. If you draw, you're in second place or third place, or you're on the podium. But if you make this risky move and it plays out, you could win, or it'll knock you off the podium. I'm making the risky move 10 out of 10 times. Not to be like if you're first, you're last. I'm there to have fun.
Absolutely.
And I will never if you put me in a situation where you're like, just play passively and you still get a podium, I don't care. I don't care about a podium finish. I care about winning, or I care about having fun. And yeah, maybe this ill-advised assault could lose, and I would laugh about it the whole time. I'd be like, oh man, I was in a pickle. That's all I could do. You played well.
And this is a time to repeat our time-honored adage that Bolt Action is a game about a movie about World War II. You don't make a movie about the boring parts.
Oh, no. Matt Damon's, well, not Matt Damon, that's a big one. Tom Hanks isn't going to sit back and go, well, we've got heavier forces landing in a couple days. Realistically, the Germans won't be able to move Private Ryan out anytime soon. No. He's going to grab 30 of his guys and he's going to go assault a tank with a pistol.
That's right. And miraculously,
and your air observer happened to roll well, so here comes the tank busters.
And for that brief moment, you think, oh, well, it worked. What?
I understand I'm in kind of a vocal minority here, but it is, high speed, high thrills, rolling dice.
I have seen my kid use this kind of tactic in a game of Blood Red Skies, which is kind of like a sister game to Bolt Action, also from Warlord Games, playing at a tournament, and the opponent was really good. It was a really tight match, and my dear sweet baby child looks at this grown-ass man across the table and says, I'm going to give you an option here. We can either call it a draw right now, or we can take another turn where you'll make a mistake and I'll win this game. And the guy was like, I'm not going to take that from you. Let's go. Let's play this next.
Let's go.
And sure enough, made a mistake. My kid won the game. But man, just tension moments like that where you're bluffing. You're 100% bluffing because you have no freaking idea what's going to happen.
Right.
But when you see that gambling urge in somebody's eye, oh man, it's fantastic. That's the stuff you remember.
I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sure as hell, you don't know what you're gonna do. I can take some guesses.
Yep.
I can look at your army list and take some guesses.
You sit there and overanalyze every possible thing that your opponent could possibly do, and then they don't do any of those things. You're like, what? Wait a minute.
Yeah, that's the thing is a lot of people make the mistake of expecting their opponent to behave rationally.
Right.
And I intend to deliver on never allowing you to think that I'm going to behave rationally, because I'm really not. Because I like those cinematic moments. I like that Hellcat rushing to the back of the line to try to take out a heavy tank, or getting like a desperate charge by some infantry, to assault a Panzer III. They don't have anti-tank grenades, but there's still 6 of them. It's a low chance, but it is a chance.
And then you got the alleyway, and you know that there's an anti-tank gun at the far end of the road, and he's just waiting for you to come down that alley. So What do? You roll that KV2 right between those buildings and just say,
Right up.
do your best, buddy.
Do it. Do what you got. We're both rolling.
Yep. Those are the things that I remember about games. I don't even remember who wins and loses a lot of times, but those cinematic moments, that's what it's about.
It is. It is the highest point of any game I played. My kill point being Operation Unwavering Resolve. I wish I had the excuse that English wasn't my first language, but no, I just talk like this. During
We're,
oh
we're gonna
boy,
we're gonna get you a soundboard and we're gonna have some
yeah,
pre-typed
just to click the button.
click
In my
Operation
game
Unwavering
against Tim,
Resolve. Yes.
in my game against Tim, there's an alleyway. I'm moving my assault squad up. Tim knows that if I break through here, if I'm allowed to just round the corner, that I will have the advantage. I've got a heavy assault squad for this. I will break through him and I will kill his commanding officer, which is worth a bunch of points, and then I'll confirm the kill with which is worth a couple more. And at this point, it is still any man's game. And he knows if I'm allowed to do that, that's it. I've probably got it. No guarantees, but the odds are looking in that favor. So what does he do? He assaults my assault squad with his skirmisher squad, and we were close enough that he got it off. We were rolling at the same time. It came down to the wire. It was so much fun. We were, because we tied the first round. We rolled again. Oh, it was. I think I won by a single guy. It was incredible though. But it those are the moments I go for. You know, was it ill advised? Oh, entirely. But what was his option?
Desperate times call for desperate measures.
And had it worked, I would still, I mean, I'm still talking about the event, but had it worked, I'd still be going, oh, it was incredible, man. Like, took this massive risk, paid off.
Yes.
Like, completely changed the course of the battle.
And we can talk about this kind of stuff all day, I guarantee it. Let's try
Oh,
to get on to talking about some of the wild and crazy new stuff coming out with the Soviet book and some
yes.
wild and crazy things that we would like to see in the game.
Now, about an hour in, we are finally talking about one of the keynotes that we had. So, the Weird and Wonderful, or whatever they call it, article was released for the Soviets, and one of those was expected, one of those was hoped for, and one of those was, oh, that's fun. Uh, you got your Aerosand,
I
though.
got my Aerosan. I still want to model it as a Sturmovik with the wings stripped off and a forward prop drive on it. I just think that'd be great. Strap some skis to it, call it good.
That'd be incredible. I love the Aerosand, and I love the fact that they are supporting stuff like the Aerosand. Will it ever be used? Probably not. Let's be realistic. It's gonna see use in thematic events, but I still want one.
Definitely.
For those that don't know, the Aerosand is essentially think of like for Americans in the audience, think of a bayou airboat but designed across frozen lakes instead of alligator infested bayous. It's a pair of skis, small hull, light machine gun, giant fan. And it can actually transport up to 4 infantry towed behind it on skis.
So it's probably a good thing that the Aerosan cannot stop super quick as it is propelled by a giant fan, and the guys on the skis behind may not.
Probably wouldn't appreciate being that close to a giant fan very quickly.
Can you imagine the backblast from that and holding on to a rope with a pair of skis, just hoping that by the
I can barely water ski as is, and now you're gonna just blast me with a giant fan?
yeah, not good. Frostbite everywhere.
Everywhere.
I love
It is definitely something I'm looking forward to, though.
I love the
Have
idea
a
of the
great time with it.
Aerosan. I love the way that the model looks.
Oh yes,
It's weird and it's wonderful, and I'm here for it.
I love the fact that the game supports it. I'll say again. But then we'll move on to the thing that I was kind of expecting. It was in the Stalingrad scenario book, the improvised T-34, or the hastily built T-34, as it were.
Right off of the tractor factory lines.
Yep, driven. It's sorry to burst anyone's funny bubble. The story's bullshit. However, there were definitely tanks driven to the city that weren't fully complete. No no tank was driving right off of the factory into Stalingrad. Like in the city itself, the factories would have been bombed to hell the first match. But there were not fully completed T-34s delivered to the line. That's how desperate the fight was. And it is really fun that it's included. It is a inexperienced T-34 that has to take one of three debuffs. Either no gunning sights installed, which is a -1 on your hits, I believe. It is hastily repaired, which you take two pins instead of one,
The unreliable
and
rule,
then
yep.
you the unreliable rule, and then you have the crewed by factory workers, which does something, but I can't remember what off the top of my head. If you have that,
It may not be completely historically accurate, but it's hilarious. And I could see that
it is.
happening in World
I
War
could
II
see it
Soviet
happening. You
Union.
know, a fight with the brick. You know,
You do what you
it's
got
the
to do.
tank version of fighting with a brick.
I love it. It's all very thematic. And once again, it's continuing the theme of the British book of some units are just there for historical gaming and thematic gaming and having fun. We're going to see a bunch of
It
people taking unreliable T-34s to a tournament. Probably not.
The one problem I do have with it. Oh, factory worker crew with a. Oh, you must pass an order test to perform any action, regardless of whether or not you're pinned.
Even
That
worse
is
than single
the
man turret, yeah.
even worse than single man turret. That being said, it is a 9+ damage value T-34. 140 points though. That's kind of my sticking point here. It is only 10 points less than a regular inexperienced T-34.
Not going to see that in a tournament.
I You're not going to see it in a tournament. I would love to combine this with like the free command tank rule and build an army of completely inexperienced tractor factory T-34s. I think that would be a lot of fun.
It'd be hilarious.
I would love to see a -20 or -25 points for it, just to make that a little bit easier. But I understand they can't make this the sleeper hit. You know, they can't make this like, oh, you combine it with this other unit and suddenly it becomes fully viable. This is stupid and it needs to remain as such.
And it kind of also goes back to the whole thing with Warlord saying, and if you don't like our rules, feel free to change them. Make it work
Yes.
for your group. If we're playing just a
Yeah.
thematic, fun, one-off game, and we decide, okay, for this game, the defenders are going to have 20% discount on all tanks, and but they've all got to be these garbage tanks here.
All gotta be NX Tractor Factory T-34s.
Now those Tractor Factory T-34s, do you choose the debuff or does it get chosen by a die
You
roll?
Ooh, that is a good question. I'm pretty sure, looking at it, you choose which one. You have to take one.
Unacceptable. It needs to be a die roll.
Yeah. All you know is a tank is being delivered today. That is all you know.
Your tank crew opens up the hatches to jump in. There's Tractor Factory guys there already. Huh, well,
Yeah, and they are pissed that you were trying to take this from them.
this is our tank. What are you doing? We built this with our own hands. Okay, we'll go to the next one. And you jump in that one and you discover where are the gun sights? Too late, Igor. Let's
Yeah,
drive on.
you go to the next one, and while you're accepting it, one of your drivers goes up and just shoves his hand through a gap in the weld,
Right.
like, and like pulls a lever inside, and he just like looks back at you as he's just manipulating the controls from outside of the tank. It's like, well, it's the tank we have.
You fight the war with the tank you have.
Yep. Getting to the last one, the Emplomet
I love that.
Molotov launcher.
I love the Empulement. I love being the target of it in particular.
I am confused by this inclusion. Not because I love it. I do think it's incredible. It's in the base book.
It is.
So I would have loved to see something other than the ampulette included here so I could see another thing. For those that don't know, it is an upgrade, massive air quotes, upgrade to the anti-tank gun or anti-tank rifle that throws Molotov cocktails. Because why not? It is a HE2, which that is incredible. That is a medium howitzer, I believe,
Drop a
or
bunch
at least
of
a light howitzer.
drop a bunch of burning petrol on people. They don't like it.
Yeah, for 40, I think it is points. 52 points as a veteran, 40 points as a regular. You throw an HE2. You can only throw it 24 inches, but still 24-inch HE2 launcher. The big thing, though, the kicker, the reason for being is if you hit a vehicle with it, you roll a dice. And if you roll a 6, it's now on fire. No ifs, ands, or buts. You hit, you roll a 6, it's on fire.
I parked a Char
And that's
B1B.
incredible.
Yeah, I parked a Char B1B right beside an implement team and just sat it there. And he had to fire at me every turn because you got to hope for that 6. And I
Right.
ignored him. I just ignored that team and I fired at everything else. And I dodged his T-34 for the whole match. Didn't try to fight it. I don't want to try to fight that thing. It can hurt me.
You're going to lose in a Char B1.
Yeah, and every
You
time
really
this
are.
guy fires the implement, he's like, "But do I set you on fire?" Nah, you don't, buddy. But I love the tension of it. It's such a
Oh,
great
because
little
you
funny
never
weapon.
know. It's a 1 in 6.
Yeah.
It is just a 1 in 6.
And would I take one in the Soviet Army? Heck yes, I would.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If nothing else, you're throwing an HE2 template 24
Yeah.
inches. That's nothing to scoff at.
Hope springs ever eternal in the mind of a gamer. My buddy Scott in Nashville would always say, "You give a gamer a 2% chance, and he's going to roll."
I'm taking it.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a game I've been playing that involves like training up these athletes. Um, and they have energy and like stamina that needs to be managed. And as their energy decreases, the chance of like the training failure increases. And let me tell you, a 5% chance to fail hits more than you think it
Yes,
does.
it does.
It hits way more than you think it should.
But if you think of it in bolt action terms, when we're using a D6 based system, you got basically a 17% chance of it happening. 17% is a pretty good chance in the eyes of a gambler.
Yeah, that is. I mean, if you told me there was a 17% chance of winning the $1 million lottery,
I'm buying the ticket.
I'd go buy a ticket.
Yep.
I'd drop $5 to buy a ticket.
We're going to be heroes or zeros, boy, but there's only one way to find out.
That's all there
Yep.
is. They're gonna be talking about us either way.
That's right. We're going to make the history books.
But speaking about the fact that the T-34 was a an old Stalingrad scenario book, what are you hoping for out of the scenario books this year? We have a while. I believe we have a year and a half until we even get to the scenario books.
We do. We do have a while for the scenario books. The good thing about the evolution of bolt action as it stands is that the old campaign books are still usable. It does not
Yes.
take a whole lot of mental calculus to figure out how to adapt them slightly for V3. We also have one of my favorite things in the game, and I am definitely in the minority on this, I think, the company command rules out of Battle of France. I've been preaching from every mountaintop that I can find and not get knocked off of in the first hour about the company commander rules and how fantastic this would be, where your battles mean something and your result carries over, because that does away with the bazooka in a Jeep. You no longer are willing
That
to,
really does.
you don't want to throw your Jeep out there in front of a Panther and have Joe and Mike with a tube with a shaped charge in it walk up, place the thing on the side of the Panther, and squeeze the trigger, because you know that team is done. They're gone.
Oh, they're Dunyan. They're Dunyan rings.
You want to be a commander. You want to say, I don't know, I like these guys. I took them through boot camp. I don't want to send them up in front of a Panther with a tube with a shaped charge. Oh, you want them to live, so you play a little bit more tactically. Is it
Also,
competitive
that's
bolt
only
action?
one
No.
Panther.
Yeah. Right. What about the other two?
I definitely I've said it before and I've said it again. I've dropped my money on Battle of the Bulge being the first campaign book that we get.
Oh, for sure.
Just
If you look at all of the winter
all
troops,
signs are pointing to it.
yes. If you want to look at
All signs are pointing to it.
iconic World War II movies, iconic World War II battles, Battle of the Bulge
Battle of the
right
Bulge
up
is
there.
top of the list.
And we got Winter Americans, we got Winter Germans, we've got Winter British.
Winter British.
I don't think we're going to get Spring Soviets. Probably not. But do we get Winter Japanese? Who knows? Maybe we'll have something the Japanese versus the Soviets, and they'll be in winter gear as well.
Oh, the good old
Manchurian
Manchuria.
campaign, yeah,
If we do get a Battle of the Bulge book, now I am a hardcore American player.
absolutely.
That is my go-to. That's my number one. I've got several different iterations. What I would want out of Battle of the Bulge though is the Ursat's Panther.
Yes.
That is entire. They have one right now. The model's okay, but I bring me back the Ursat's Panther. Bring me back the War Crime Panther.
Put that thing in the campaign book and say specifically this is not for tournament or matched play. This is for historical based thematic gaming only.
I will still take one to a tournament. I absolutely will.
You can always proxy it, and I love the looks of it. I love having the idea of having, oh, we're MPs. Like, these guys are at the Ore River Bridge directing traffic. I don't see any Germans. Yeah, they're all Germans. The MPs are Krauts.
It's well, I made the joke of like that would allow me to easily make like an infiltrator squad because I just take my already existing Americans and be like, nah, they're actually Germans. See, look, here's a tank.
Imagine these troops, but with an accent. Imagine these troops, but when they
Yes,
ask for gas, they're saying petrol.
they're saying petrol. They're holding up, their thumb, their index, and their
Yeah,
middle finger when they're counting three.
yes, there will be signs.
it, it's the reverse Inglorious
Right.
Bastards.
But yeah, that kind of
Oh,
stuff is fun. And when you want to
it's
run
incredibly
like your
fun.
German, your Brandenburgers, and you take a squad of every nationality that you can put together out of your collection so it can match your opponent. Like if I'm playing British, well, for this game, my Brandenburgers are going to be British. I'm playing Soviets next game.
Ooh,
For this game, my Brandenburgers are going to be Soviets. I love doing stuff like that, and it doesn't matter to anybody but
that is
me.
fun.
But
But and that's the thing is like you're playing for a thematic purpose. You're playing for a thematic reason, and you're getting your thematics. Damn it!
a couple of things that have been said about 502nd members. We were at a tournament in Clarksville. My kid was playing to see how many buildings she could knock down. That was my kid's game. I want to see how many buildings I can knock down with this vehicle. And the tournament organizer, the fighting Kentuckian, great guy. Love him. He really helped get my club on the right track, I think. He announces to the whole crew, everybody there. He's like, "Well, guys, just want to let you know, Rose is playing her own tournament over here, and so far is winning." And then we got another guy who, Sean, I love Sean. He's my historical guru. He is the official 502nd historian and
Oh, fantastic!
a tournament organizer at a very recent tournament said to him, "Sean, you know the thing I love about you is that you show up with your crazy armies and you play to fun. You don't play to win. You definitely play to fun."
That's one of those backhanded compliments right
And the
there.
thing is, he really, I think, genuinely meant it. We kind of look at ourselves in the regional gaming community as a vaccination against overly competitive and honestly mean gaming. We want to inject
Yeah,
fun into everything that we go to, and hopefully somebody takes a little bit from that and takes it home to their home club, or says, "Yeah, maybe I will paint Captain America to be in my American army."
absolutely. Paint Captain America. Get the whole Howling Commandos in
Oh
there.
yeah, or show up with your German army, and you've got Indiana Jones, and you've got
Right.
the Ark marching at the front of the column. Do some cool stuff.
Absolutely. Do weird and wacky things, kids. That's your takeaway from this episode. Be weird.
Be weird.
Get weird.
We're gonna get weird
Be
with it.
the first person to get weird. You gotta get weird with it. Life's too serious to not get weird with your World War II models.
When I was in my 20s and then when I was in my 30s, I always imagined someday I'm going to grow up and I'm going to be an adult and I'm not going to be playing with little plastic toys in a basement somewhere.
Boy, were you wrong.
Yeah, fortunately I was wrong. The amount of community this has gotten me, the amount of good friends, the amount of good experiences, I cannot measure the value that that has in my life.
The trick getting older, for any younger listeners, is to just do the same stuff you're doing right now, but a little bit more maturely. Just age it up just a tad. You can still do things like play with miniatures, play with toys with your friends, and go get ice cream afterwards. It's just you got to keep in mind the fact that you got to go to work tomorrow,
Yeah, and you got to watch your cholesterol.
and you got to watch your cholesterol. Luckily, I don't think ice cream contributes to
It
cholesterol.
doesn't, but the chicken that you have, the fried chicken you have beforehand, whew,
You can still get chicken and waffles as an adult. You just do so while at your desk. You
you
know.
get whole grain waffles too.
Well, I think we've solved all the world's problems once again,
I
Joe.
feel like we have, and I'm happy to be a part of it.
And we will go ahead as we wrap up here. Do you have anything for the good of the class before we head out?
Um, I once again, I just want to reiterate to the world, sorry about the tariffs. It's going to pass. I promise you. We're all going to have a Coke and a smile, and we're going to talk about it again someday and look back on it with fondness.
Maybe not fondness, but fondness that it was over.
Yes, there you go.
I have to. I am legally obligated to bring up every single episode. Fall brawl, fall brawl, fall brawl, fall brawl. Um, fall brawl.
The Fighting 502nds winter themed historical gaming event.
It's getting closer. We are slightly over a month away. At time of publishing, it will be right about a month away.
Get your lists turned in and make sure that you don't miss this event. It's going to be great.
That's all I have. Stay safe. Catch you next time, folks. Bye bye.
Bye bye.